1470 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We have a very exciting and informative topic of discussion today. Number one, the cliffhanger from Apostles I mentioned last week. So we're going to get that cliffhanger out of the way. Moving to President Donald Trump canceling Martin Luther King's birthday and Juneteenth. But both of those will still be observed. It's just he's canceling them as far as free admission to the national parks and making his birthday a federal holiday, which I think is quite selfish. But we're going to get to those, and more importantly, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, which his birthday is Monday, the 19th. Apostle.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, we are so glad that you have tuned in to the Dr. Glenn Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. And I am Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. I'm so glad to be on today. You know, Dr. Glenn, it looks a little rainy out there and it's got a little cold. Somebody said that it was supposed to stay warm for the rest of the month, and somebody didn't tell the truth. It's gotten chilly, and it waited until I came outside to start raining. So I said, as soon as I go out, it's going to be raining, and it was.
Well, somebody should know there's a higher authority, a higher power, and whoever it was has no say-so of the matter.
That's right. God is in charge of the weather, and he's the one that switches it, and he done switched it up on us. You know, a few days, I saw people with shorts on even for a few days, but now you're going to have to go back and get that coat and have some wisdom and stay warm.
I remember asking you one time before we talked about the weather, have you ever heard the song, Every Time It Rains pennies from heaven?
I think that back then, when you mentioned the song, that you did let me hear it, that you sent it to me at that time, but that's been a couple of years ago.
I got to resend it to you then.
Yeah, you'll have to resend it and send it back. But hey, we're starting out today. And before I get to that cliffhanger, I just want to invite you on today. If we're saying something that you'd like to just chime in with, and we know that you're listening out there today, and we know you got your ears peeled for the cliffhanger that we left on last week. But I want to let you know that if you want to call in today, you can call in and be live on the radio with Dr. Glenn and myself. The phone number here is 252-756-2008. Maybe you just want to send a shout out, and maybe you just want to encourage us and let us know that you're listening. You can call right in and you'll be live on the air. So let's get to the cliffhanger from last week.
Yeah, and I'm glad you two enjoyed it right now because I got something stuck in my mind about the paprika that I didn't know.
Okay, well, Dr. Glenn is going, I know he's already done the research, but I left here and I did look it up because I hate to be on here talking about something that I don't know what I'm talking about, and I didn't look it up. Sometimes, and I just want to say this, that sometimes we are going through life and we can see something every day and we really don't know until it comes up that we have to really know what we're talking about. And we could be using a product we could be using it all the time and not really looked it up, or just because somebody else, we saw them do it, and we're looking at the difference between paprika and cayenne pepper. So when I was talking last week, I said out of my mouth, is paprika cayenne pepper? I mean, it's red like the same. And I think, Dr. Glenn, that I got that bad information secondhand from somebody else that said that it was made from cayenne pepper. So let's deal with the cliffhanger today. Is paprika made from cayenne pepper? It's dark red. And I don't know about you and your family, but my family, the majority of the time I saw paprika was on top of the potato salad and on top of the deviled eggs.
Exactly.
And that's where we see it usually used mostly. But now I use it and I'll put it on the chicken, right in there with the other seasoning. I'll put it on the outside of the turkey before I fry it. I'll mix it in with the fish, and I use it with the other seasoning. So the question was paprika made from cayenne pepper? And the answer to that today is no.
No.
It's absolutely not. Paprika and cayenne pepper are two different things, and cayenne pepper is the one that has those little seeds on it. That's the real spicy one.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Hot.
the spicy one. It's
Hot.
hot, hot.
I'm talking about hot, hot,
Hot,
hot.
hot, hot. That's the one you got to sprinkle just a little bit, and you often see it crushed in its container. It's one you can't wipe your eyes with or anything like that. And sometimes just breathing the vapors or letting the vapors from that pepper get in towards your eye is going to cause you some issues.
Yeah, gonna cause you some irritation.
It's not the same with the paprika.
That's right.
Paprika is not as spicy, and it's made from a different set of peppers. It is from a pepper. It is made from a pepper, but it's not the same type of pepper as the cayenne pepper. Dr. Glenn?
And that was gonna be my thing, because I did not know that the paprika, like you said, is that red powdery substance that we sprinkle on potato salad, deviled eggs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that the paprika is produced by grinding numerous peppers.
Yeah, so it's not just one pepper, it's multi-peppers that is ground together to make paprika. And it said it results in a distinct flavors and heat levels. So it's not very hot. You could take that paprika and put it in your hand and pop a little bit of that in. It's not going to burn your mouth. You're not going to take that and sprinkle that cayenne pepper in your hand and pop it in your mouth like that and it'd
No,
be okay.
sir. No,
It's not.
it's not recommended.
Your sinus, your tongue, your throat, and everything else is going to be burning. So, hey, I'm glad we cleared up the cliffhanger from last week. But it says here that cayenne pepper is a super spicy chili that rates high on the Scoville scale as a method for measuring pepper's heat level. So it measures high, whereas the ground paprika is produced by grinding numerous peppers and can have a flavor ranging from sweet to fiery.
That's my other question. When it says the chili, I'm thinking like the chili stuff you might have a hot dog, you put chili on it. But when they say chili, they're actually talking about a particular pepper.
Chili pepper, yeah, the hot peppers.
Okay,
If it's a
thought so.
chili pepper, it's hot. And so it said here that the paprika can be ranging from sweet to fiery. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't know the other varieties of paprika. There may be something more than I know. But when I see it just labeled as paprika, it's just not that spicy. It's not fiery. It has a mild flavor. It has a different taste. But like I said, you can put that, add that in on your meats as well.
Yeah,
You could fry it on your meats,
and that's what's comes in like a small can or small jar that you sprinkle on stuff, right?
Yes, and it says there's a sweet paprika. I would really love to try that one, Dr. Glenn. It's the Hungarian paprika, which is made primarily from ground red pepper and it said is a more subtle spice used primarily as garnish to add color to dishes. I think that's what we're eating. I think that's what we have because that paprika is not spicy.
No.
The one that I know that we're sprinkling on top of the eggs and we're putting on the top of the potato salad. I always wondered what that stuff was when I was a kid and why it was on there. I thought they just put it on there for decoration to make the potato salad look good and make the eggs look eye-catching. That yellow and red together was something. What do you think to our audience today? Do you think it was just decoration? Because it doesn't have a big, deep taste. It
No.
doesn't seem like it affected the taste of the eggs or the potato salad. It just seemed like they put it on there for decoration.
No, it does have a little peculiar taste to it.
Yeah, but not so much so until it affects it. Like you could say without it, there's no, oh, There's no paprika on here. I don't taste the paprika. Where's the paprika? With it or without it, it was fine. I think so, Dr. Glenn. What do you think?
Well, I was just going to say, to me, since I only eat a lot of spices, I can tell when there's paprika and no paprika because I don't eat a lot of spices. So I definitely can tell the difference.
Wow. And it said here also that I saw something that talked about black pepper. That black pepper, oh, here it is. So we're talking about black pepper, the black pepper and the little thing that we put on our food. It says that despite its name, black pepper is unrelated to any of the bright red spices. So black pepper, we know that that's something different altogether
Yeah.
and comes from the fruit of a flowering vine rather than the pepper family. So that's something I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know if I know what black pepper looks like. And I don't know if I've ever seen anybody growing any of it.
Have you had the real, what they can put they're not big, but they're a lot larger than just like what you would sprinkle out of a sprinkler.
Right. So the grinder to
The grinder,
grind the
yeah.
little round balls, but I've seen that. But I've never seen anybody growing black pepper. I mean, who growing the black pepper? Now I'm gonna have to cliffhang you again to leave another cliffhanger so we can find out where black pepper is being grown. I'm
Yeah.
from the South, and I'm just saying, and we're in the South. And I've just never heard anybody say, my black pepper is growing really well over there. My black pepper crop is really doing good, or it's too dry for my black pepper. Where is the black pepper coming from? We need to find out. We
Yeah.
all eat it, we all use it. Where is it coming from?
My grandmother had a miraculous farm and garden, and I have never seen black pepper grown in her garden.
Yes, my grandmother did too, and my family. We even had it living in Detroit. There would be community gardens when I was growing up, and I lived in Detroit, and they would grow it right in the middle of the block, or whoever owned that particular property, they would put a fence up around it right there in the city or in their backyards, and they would grow these vegetables and things right in the backyard.
Sort of like a community garden.
Sometimes there would be a place where it was community and then it was the private owner. See, we used to live in what was called two-family flats, and we lived upstairs. So I could look out in the backyard, and my aunts, they were growing vegetables right there. So I've seen the red pepper, the cayenne pepper, and I've seen red peppers, and I've also seen green. And I'm not talking about the bell pepper, but the long, hot peppers. I've seen those. I've seen even my grandmother pickle some of those and put them into jars. But I've never seen them harvesting any black pepper, Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, now, if you don't mind, let's get into President Trump and this Martin Luther King and Juneteenth situation.
Definitely. And I believe that on last week, I did say something that I had heard something about the Martin Luther King holiday being canceled. And so we went and we looked it up precisely so that we would know. Oh, there we go. We have a caller.
Caller, you are live on the Glenn Johnson Show. You have a comment or question?
Yes, Mr. Johnson, how y'all doing today?
We're doing great, sir. How are you?
Yes, that black pepper is originated from the coast of India,
Oh, really?
and they use it. They make it by grinding all different spices together, like dry berries and all other stuff. But that's why you don't see it right here, because it comes from the coast of India.
That makes sense because the Indians use a lot of spices. So that
Right.
makes
They
that,
grow a whole lot of them and then grind them up together and make the black pepper.
so that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Thank you. You have anything further?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to just bring that to your attention.
All right. I want to thank you for calling in, sir. You have a great day.
You too. All right. Bye bye.
Hey, we want to thank our caller for calling in and telling us that. And now I have some issues, Dr. Glenn.
What?
And I want to say to her, I want to say to our caller, thank you so much for telling us that. I've seen a lot of videos of some of the food and the way it was handled and the way that it's being handled and coming from places like India. And I'm now wondering about this black pepper because I've seen some of the videos where the people are making the food, they up there with they sometimes stepping with their naked feet and throwing the food on the ground that has to be baked and doing kind of, some of them sitting there serving food and there's some rats and things around there. And I'm thinking black pepper, but maybe it might not be such an issue because black pepper is spicy too. It has a little bit of spice there, with the rats and some of the unsanitary videos that I have seen that are coming out of India.
Yeah. Well, they're totally, their culture is I don't know the right words to say, but it's something to be amazed about.
Definitely. Well, I'm looking at certain things to see if they came from there, and there's some things I'm refraining from after seeing some of those videos.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we want to get into whether the holiday was canceled or not, and Dr. Glenn said at the top of the hour that it was not, and that's what we want to report today, and we want to clear up and clarify what is actually really happening here with the holiday. So it says President Trump has removed Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth from the list of days Americans can enter national parks for free, but added his own birthday and others. Now, I just have a few things to say about that.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm not a president hater. My mother, she taught us, and this is something that she would say, and I love my dear departed mother. She say that God chooses the president. And in spite of whether we like him or not, we have to respect that position. So we have to respect that position, but it doesn't mean that we have to like everything they do. And it doesn't mean that we have to agree with everything they do. She used to say to me, if you're coming against the president, you're coming against God because God chose him.
Well, you know what I think about that? Number one, Congress has the authority to make the president's birthday holiday. He can't do it on his own accord. And he was born June 14th, which is also Flag Day. My twins were born on June 14th on Flag Day. Flag Day itself is an observance. It's not a holiday. But to have the President's Day a holiday, it will have to be authorized by Congress and approved by Congress, and usually you're deceased.
Right. And
So that's
so
why I
he
say,
can
I
make
think,
it while he's alive.
yeah,
And then the nerve of him to take down Martin Luther King Day and put himself up there. I mean, come on now. We talk about Dr. Martin Luther King
he's been
versus him.
he's just been rude and selfish.
And King won the Nobel Peace Prize. This man ain't won no Peace Prize for anything. He's not, they're not on the same level here.
Yeah, let me explain one other thing to you. And I don't mean no disrespect, but when it comes to June 14th, since my twins were born on June 14th, and it's Flag Day, I'm celebrating Flag Day and my children's birthday, and not
The president's
not
birthday.
anything else.
I understand what you're saying. Now, let me just say this. I just got to add this in to our listening audience. Now, if he decides that they want us to get off and they want to pay us and make it a federal holiday like that, I'm going to take the day off and I'm going to take that pay. But let me tell you this. I'm not barbecuing, celebrating, not one balloon, not nothing. Not even mention that it's his birthday.
That's right.
I'm not doing it. And it has nothing. I know everybody thinks their own birthday is very important, but that one, it just doesn't hold any significance to me. And I'm just going to say this. Dr. Glenn, I'm sorry, and I want to say this in front of our listening audience, and I don't mean any disrespect. I just want to say that I don't know. I know he's been there as the president, but I'm looking for how he's benefited me.
Yeah, and I think
What's on the list?
I think I think a lot of Americans feel the same way that you do.
Yeah, I mean, where's the benefit here? You know, the tariff money, they need to go on and hand it out.
Yeah.
They need to give us that check. I might feel a little different if there was something that I knew that benefited me directly. I'm talking about all the way right here in Greenville, North Carolina. If something that I could put down on the paper and say, you know, I know the president has really done this or really done that. I see some things that have shifted under his rule, but they just don't affect me. It just don't affect me like that because I'm not on the system. I'm not an illegal, and I'm not harboring any. Dr. Glenn.
And his contributions to America so far as the president, I wonder how many people would actually celebrate his birthday.
Oh, there's some people that's out there. There's some. You know, there's silly people on every continent, and there's some right here in Greenville. So I'm not protesting. You know what I mean? And I don't want to. I don't want to offend anybody for their choices. That is your choice, but it's not mine, and it's not something that I would celebrate.
Like I mentioned, like I mentioned, I would observe Flag Day and my children's birthday before I observe this day.
And it also says remove MLK Day and Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a celebration for Black people. So now that is no longer a holiday where people are able to get into the national parks. What does that say, you know, by taking those away and adding his birthday or trying to add his birthday?
Let's see what they're saying. Here's two short clips from CBS.
Trump administration announcing a revised list of free entry days to America's national parks. President Trump's birthday has been added to the list. Martin Luther King Day has been taken off. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is at the White House. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And this is an overhaul of the calendar. The National Park Service this morning making changes to which day Americans can enter national parks for free, now adding President Trump's birthday, which falls on Flag Day, and removing Martin Luther King Jr. Day and also Juneteenth. Other changes include adding 4th of July weekend, Constitution Day in September, and charging foreign visitors an entry fee. The Department of Interior did not respond to our request for comment on why MLK Day and Juneteenth were removed. It is worth noting that MLK Day was listed as a free day of entry during President Trump's first term, and some Democrats are now criticizing the Trump administration over these changes, calling it foul. Earlier this year, the National Park Service did face backlash after removing content and information about Harriet Tubman on its website. That information was later restored in April, but again this morning, no word on why these changes were made, removing MLK Day and Juneteenth from that calendar, George.
We will go look for the answers. Okay, Rachel, thanks very much.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Little Learners Network. Today, we're going to learn about someone very important in history. His name was Martin Luther King Jr. You can also call him Dr.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there. I thought that was the second audio about the cancellation of Martin Luther King and Juneteenth, but it wasn't.
Well, it says here, Dr. Glenn, it said criticism. Advocates and lawmakers, including the NAACP, called the removal a slap in the face and a step backwards, viewing it as a erasing Black history and civil rights gains, especially given the addition of Trump's birthday.
Yeah.
It does say so. You know, those holidays were fought for. You know, it does say something, or it gives the appearance of diminishing the struggle. I know people want to erase what has happened in the past and try to act as if it didn't have an effect, or it doesn't have an effect on us today, but it still does. The foundation of something and how something is laid can affect things forever. If you put a faulty foundation on, it makes the rest of the house lean.
That's right.
It makes the rest of the house crack. And we're still dealing with some of those cracks today. So let's not say that it does not affect us today. Yes, it does.
It is going to affect us today and tomorrow.
That's right, because there's some things that were presented there and that were brought into being that we had to fight to get out of as a nation of people.
And not only that, when you talk about government, there's a thing that's called setting the precedents. not a president, but presidents. Once you do something, they'll continue to do it over and over and over again. That's setting the precedence.
And not only that, Dr. Glenn, but Dr. King is known in every nation. I saw last year Dr. King's picture being raised up in Kenya and in African nations, and he's known for something positive and a role model for many people of color, no matter whether they're in the United States or not.
And we're gonna
Is
move.
it the same for the president?
No. And we're gonna move into some Dr. King contributions and commentary in a moment. But I want to mention one thing to Apostle. In 2017, I was in recording school in Atlanta, Georgia, Zach Recording Studio. So I visited the King Center. While at the King Center, I'm admiring the big poster that they had of Dr. King. There was a gentleman from Bosnia. He was with his girlfriend or wife because he didn't speak English. She was translating for him. See, he looked at me and I looked at him. His wife says, he said, you see this man right here? This man did a lot for our country. Talking about Bosnia. He said not only do great things for America, but he did great things for our country. And because of him, our people are free today. That was in 2017 from a gentleman from Bosnia at the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, and like I said, when we're comparing removing those holidays, what has our president done that equals that he would try to put his birthday there instead of Dr. King? There's no comparison here.
Yeah.
Didn't we just kidnap somebody's president from their country
Well,
and bring
see,
him over here?
That's the thing. Instead of making progress, he's trying to go back and do harmful stuff.
Greedy and taking over. I'm not going to say everything I think that's in my mind, but and Lord help me, but taking over, are we over there doing what we're doing with Venezuela because we are genuinely concerned, or are we after that oil? Are we greedy, trying to get our greedy hands on that oil because it's such a wealth and such a benefit to many places? They're rich in that oil over there in Venezuela. It almost looks like there's something else going on up under there outside of the president not leaving office. And then we heard those very same rumors about our president that when his time was up that he wasn't going to leave office.
Yeah, see, like you just said, we can't say everything we want to say, particularly on broadcast radio, because we don't want to tarnish the reputation of Awesome Radio or nor its affiliates, so we can't say what we want to say. But I want to say one other thing to that regard. Remember, there was another president when he left office, he got on a helicopter. It was like somebody's birthday balloon got let go. There was no fanfare for him.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see what's going to happen here. But I've heard those same things about this particular president, our president here. But I'm just telling you, I do respect his office. And he does need our prayers.
Yeah.
And we do still have to pray for him no matter what.
Let me go into audio clip. This is Dr. Bernice King, Dr. King's daughter.
My role is to set the tone and issue the charge today. So as we kick off the King holiday observances, I stand before you with a mandate, a moral charge, a national and global summons, because the hour is too dangerous, the divisions too deep, the despair too widespread for anything less. I summon all of us not as citizens of divided nations, but as members of one endangered human family standing at the crossroads of consequence. As our nation enters another year marked by social strain, economic uncertainty, global conflict, and moral confusion, the 2026 King holiday observance is more critical than ever because we are living in a time when violence, displacement, and dehumanization are being normalized. People
right.
across this nation feel the weight of division, the erosion of trust, and the fear that our shared future is slipping away. In that context, our 2026 theme, Mission Possible 2, Building Community, Uniting a Nation the Nonviolent Way, is not just timely, it is essential. We are living in a world trembling under the weight of conflict, corruption, climate crises, economic exploitation, inhumanity, injustice, and political extremism. We are watching democracies fracture, truth erode, and compassion evaporate. We're witnessing leaders who weaponize fear, systems that normalize inequality in societies who refuse to see the sacredness in every human life. These are not isolated events. They're signals that the soul of humanity is under siege. Yesterday's heartbreaking and unacceptable shooting in Minneapolis further illuminates the point.
I'm going to pause that audio clip right there because the actual audio is almost 11 and a half minutes in length. So I want to play another audio that a lot of our listeners are probably not aware of. You know, Dr. King had a lot of speeches, but very, very few people are familiar with the infamous "If I Had Sneezed." So I'd like to go to the audio clip, then we'll get to some documentation.
You know, several years ago, I was in New York City. It was a dark Saturday afternoon. The minute black woman came up, the only question I heard from her was, "You Martin Luther King?" And I said, "Yes." The next minute, I felt something beating on my chest. Before I knew it, I had been stabbed by this demented woman. That blade had gone through and the x-rays revealed. The tip of the blade was on the edge of my aorta, the main artery. And once that's punctured, you're drowned in your own blood. That's the end of it. It came out in the New York Times the next morning that if I had merely sneezed, I would have died. After my chest had been opened and the blade had been taken out, from all over the states and the world, kind letters came in. One of them I will never forget. I had received one from the president and the vice president. I've forgotten what those telegrams said. I received a visit and a letter from the governor of New York, but I've forgotten what that letter said. But there was another letter that came from a little girl. Said simply, "Dear Dr. King, while it should not matter, I would like to mention that I'm a white girl. I'm simply writing you to say that I'm so happy that you didn't sneeze." And I want to say tonight that I too am happy that I didn't sneeze, because if I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1960 when students all over the South started sitting in at lunch counters. And I knew that as they were sitting in, they were really standing up for the best in the American dream, and taking the whole nation back to those great wells of democracy, which were dug deep by the founding fathers in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1961, but we decided to take a ride for freedom and ended segregation in interstate travel. If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1962. When Negroes in Albany, Georgia decided to straighten their backs up. And whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they are going somewhere, because a man can't ride your back unless it is bent. If I had sneezed.
Okay, that was audio's cut it a little short. We're gonna get to some commentary now, because what I like about his speech, it was that the young white girl wrote him the letter. He even touched a young white girl. She was a ninth grade student in her school. It touched her, which is why she wrote the letter. Also, when he said people started sitting in, but when they were sitting in, they were really standing up. Apostle, what do you think?
Definitely. They were really standing up. And I like how he said that a man can't ride your back unless you have it bent.
That's right.
That means if you standing up, they can't hang on to your back like that.
That's right.
Only but so long, but then they're gonna drop off. I love that particular quote from him. And Dr. Glenn, I was looking at this at how close he came to dying,
Yeah.
and that attempt on his life by a person that was mentally ill, and this was another black woman.
Yeah.
To see that. And then, I just was thinking, I shouldn't go back to this, that maybe the president thinks that he's on the same level because somebody grazed his ear. Remember they shot at him
Yeah.
and grazed his ear? This is not the same level. This person almost killed him.
And this is with Dr. King being stabbed. Obviously, or of course, it was prior to him being assassinated.
Definitely, it was a attempt before he was actually assassinated, but it's something to see how many people this man, he was a man of peace. And, I always say this, I've said it last year, I've said it, and I'm going to say it this year, and I probably said it the year before, that one of the things that I admire the most about Dr. King was that his origination or his establishment came from being a Baptist preacher.
That's
He
right.
came from the way that he judged things and he went forth with things came from his belief in God and him following the word of God. And I have a question here today that even if you want to call in and you're listening today, that you want to come in and weigh in on this question, it's just thinking about Dr. Martin Luther King, and Dr. Glenn is always talking about my stickies. I'm over here with a bunch of sticky pads, and sometimes when something hit my mind, I'll write it down. So I got a couple of stickies over here. And one of the things I wanted to say was Dr. King was a man who believed in nonviolence. And that was his approach to the marches and the particular events that he operated in back then to try to break segregation and to try to, bring in a new era. So the question that I have is, do you think that today a nonviolent approach can work with trying to get change or even some changes concerning Black people? Do you think nonviolence will work with today's people?
With today's people, that might be difficult to answer because depending on where the violence is taking place, because some areas it's way more dangerous than some other areas.
Well, Dr. Glenn, I think that the way that things have progressed and some of the events and things that we've seen in the United States and some of the things that have gone on in the past, I don't think that you're going to have a lot of marches and different things with it being nonviolent, because you just remember how they came out with the dogs, they came out with the hoses and that different stuff. You start pulling up some things on some of these Black people today, they gonna get a hold of you.
Now, I'm going to tell you something.
It's gonna be violence.
I'm going to tell you something, but this is not an advertisement or a sponsor for anything. I think Dr. King was also a contributor for the Jerry Curl being obsolete. The Jerry Curl in the 80s, when guys were getting the Jerry Curl, other guys would tell them, hey, what you doing that Jerry Curl? Dr. King, he wouldn't put no mess like that in his hair. And people started realizing that. And then slowly but surely, the Jerry Curl faded out.
Right. Well, Dr. Glenn, we still have those issues today, but a lot of the young people don't want to hear that. A lot of what they call the young people say the OGs. A lot of the OGs ain't wearing all these hairstyles that, all these braids and twists, going to sit in the chair and get a weave like a woman. You getting this hair added in and you got it all wound up on your head like a woman. It's a lot of these OGs that will not put that mess on their head.
Exactly. That's why I mentioned that.
They don't want to look like nothing that could bring in an element of feminism or anything that could be attributed to a woman. Now, a woman and the man are sitting there together, and you can't tell who's getting their hair done unless you know who they are, because some of the men are getting these hairstyles that are a little on the feminine side.
And I don't want to get off this subject with Dr. King, but I'm going to tell you one other thing. I noticed a lot of guys are starting to pull their pants up. They're not sagging their pants anymore. You know why? Because the other guys will tell them, why you wearing a dress? You got your pants sagging down that low because you want to be in a dress.
Well, and you can't run with your pants like that. I've seen people trying to run, hanging on with it bunched up on the side, can't even, trying to pull it up and hold it up and run at the same time.
Hold it up and run at the same time, you're right.
Oh, yeah, so it does have, it has a downfall with it. But Dr. King, he carried himself like a man.
That's
He
right.
was an example for the men today. I think if Dr. King was here today, he wouldn't get a whoop-to-do on his hair. He would still be looking like he is now. That's what my mother called it, a whoop-to-do.
A whoop-to-do.
You don't need a whoop-to-do on your hair.
I never heard that expression. A whoop-de-do.
A whoop-de-do, yeah. He wouldn't, he was a model for how men should look and carry themselves. He was always wearing a suit most of the time. I never saw Dr. King, like, even in a tracksuit, but maybe because they never showed him at home that much. He was always presenting himself
in a suit and tie.
That's right. And he presented himself with dignity. Oh, my goodness. Dr. Glenn, I believe that right now that needs to be heard. I know you have some other things there, but there's a lot of representatives, and even in the media right now, there's a big media storm about the way that people present themselves out in public, and they're supposed to be a representative of the church. He always represented himself like a man of God.
That's right.
Always had a tie on.
Always.
A suit and a tie. Always looked like somebody.
You know, when I visited the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia, in 2017, I'll never forget it, because I went to his house too, the actual house that he lived in. Everything was in that house that was there when he was living. And also in the King Museum, they had the actual shoes on that he marched with to Selma, Alabama. Those shoes were in the case. You should have saw it.
Well, Dr. Glenn, I'm going to tell you this little secret. I met a man here in Greenville, and he told me that he had Dr. King's hat, one of Dr. King's hats. And I mean, he did. He told it to me and my husband. He asked if I wanted, and I literally wanted to see the hat. But he said that when people put it on their head, they felt something different or strange, and then I backed away from it because I don't want, we don't want to make an idol out of things, but I would have been honored just to look at it and say, I saw Dr. King's hat, because this man knew Dr. King.
Yeah. Well, we have 7 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. I just want to mention from the document, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is Monday, January 19th, 2026. It's a day, a federal holiday. It's a day of service. So get out, do something with somebody. It's a day of service. Help your community, help each other. Apostle.
Yes, Dr. King, I also have a relative that I'll never forget that their birthday is on the same day.
Oh, really?
Somebody called me and asked me, when was our grandmother's birthday? One of my grandmother's birthday is on Dr. King's birthday, but I never try to overshadow him. And she was a great admirer of Dr. King.
And it was 6 minutes to go. Let me play a final audio clip for 3 minutes.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Little Learners Network. Today, we're going to learn about someone very important in history. His name was Martin Luther King Jr. You can also call him Dr. King. Martin Luther King Jr. was a leader who worked for civil rights in the United States. He believed that all people should be treated equally. A long time ago, some people were not treated the same because of their skin color. Dr. King worked to change that. Dr. King gave a famous speech called "I Have a Dream." In his speech, he talked about a world where all children could play together. He dreamed that everyone would be treated the same. Dr. King spoke to large crowds of people. He also led peaceful marches to share his ideas. Dr. King helped to change laws in the United States. Because of his work, people of all races now can go to the same schools. They can also use the same public places.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was our final audio clip for today. With 5 minutes remaining, I'm going to hand it back over to Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Yes, one of the things that we see very prominent, or words that stand out when we think about Dr. King is legacy. We are all a part of the legacy of Dr. King because we enjoy the freedoms that he led and helped to fight for back there. Now, we're not diminishing anyone else's that fought in those particular times and that went through and suffered, to bring us the rights that we so freely enjoy now. But we want to give respect and honor to that. I'm just saying, if you're in a church, and those of you remember him on Sunday, let his speech play in the service. Let's honor Dr. Martin Luther King, and let's remember the sacrifice that he gave. And not only that, but his life. His life ended as a sacrifice for what he believed in.
What he believed in, and helping our African American, but then our Negro people obtain freedom.
Just like our Savior, he died for the beliefs that he had.
That's right.
But now his blood is not a redemption for anybody, but it did help us in our struggle, or in the struggle that was going on back there. But let me tell you, he was somebody's prophet. That's what I always admire about him. And I call him the American prophet. There's a lot of prophets out there that are saying this and that, but to see the effect of that man when he prophesied and declared some things that he wanted to see happen in the United States and see those things come to pass, that was the voice of a prophet. Dr. Glenn?
And I just want to say, we just touched the surface on Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. There'll be more commentary as we approach Black History Month, because he is a part of Black history also. So we look forward to February, and we'll probably do a topic on Black history. No, we will do a topic on Black history. And we'll mention some more things about the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Apostle.
He prophesied justice and equality. He declared that for us, and we're walking in that right now. What a great man. What a great man. And as I said to you, look around and look in other nations. He'll be celebrated for his birthday in other nations. There are people all over the world that the struggle and the fight that Dr. Martin Luther King led here in the U.S. that began to mimic in other countries. There are other countries that follow suit to giving justice and equality to all races, or for the Black races that were in their countries, because of the sacrifice that Dr. King did and because of the struggle that Dr. King led. And listen, there's a lot of people that are still around today that were a part of that struggle. And so we have to give honor to whom honor is due. And we're coming up to his birthday and remembering. Make sure that the kids hear about him in the school. This is not so far the days of old. This is still some things that happened at the beginning of our generation. And so make sure that the kids know about Dr. Martin Luther King. We don't know who's going to be the next king. We don't know who's going to be the next civil rights leader. We don't know who's going to stand up and is going to be anointed for them to use their voice that's going to bring change in the earth, in the United States, and shift in other nations. So I am just giving honor. I want to say happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Happy birthday, Dr. King. And perhaps we'll have another cliffhanger next week also on the Black Pepper. And I want to thank that caller for calling in earlier to share his thoughts on the Black Pepper and India. So we'll do some research on that. We'll say that for a cliffhanger for next week.
Oh, definitely. We're going to come back with some information. I'm not going to let this guy that just called in and brought in the information beat me with no one. I'm going to go look it up. I'm looking it up and I'm learning. And let me tell you, it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to get some more knowledge. It's never too late. Hey, we're at the end of our show and the end of our hour here with the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. And we're inviting you to come back next week. We say God bless you and God keep you. And we will see you on next week. Dr. Glenn?
Everybody have a blessed day. May the Lord take a liking to you. As always, may Father God continue to bless you all the days of your life. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget, Monday is the late Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King's birthday. Enjoy and celebrate.
Tell somebody about Awesome Radio and tell them about this broadcast. And God bless you and keep you is our prayer.
I am Miss